Joined by Jeff Gordon, driver of the number 24 Exalta Texas A&M School of Engineering Chevrolet. Jeff, you want to talk a little bit about the special paint scheme you're running here this weekend?
Yeah, it's very exciting. You know, I had an opportunity to go to Texas A&M on Thursday and visit with the students, the engineering students, as well as the football team. So, impressive campus and a lot of excitement and buzz over there, as well as here at the racetrack. You know, being here in Texas and having Texas A&M on board our Exalta Chevy SS really cool. And I just think it's a great partnership. You know, Charlie Shaver from Exalta is here, CEO, and he's an alumni from Texas A&M. And so connecting the engineering that goes on for one of the largest coating systems companies in the world, as well as the engineering that happens in the teaching of engineering over at Texas A&M, as well as how that connects to motorsports. It makes sense. We're going to have a lot of those students out here this weekend who won the opportunity to be our 12th man, and you know, just the incredible support that we've gotten, you know, representing them. And I feel like I've got a lot of extra pressure on me to go out there and perform as well.
Okay, talk a little bit about coming into Texas this weekend. Obviously a past winner here, a couple of poles to your credit. Talk a little bit about the weekend itself.
Yeah, I love Texas Motor Speedway, especially every year as the track continues to you know, sort of deteriorate, which makes for better racing and more abrasive surface, and you'll see more fall off. It's amazing just how fast we are for 1 or 2 laps, and then you just start feeling the pace and the grip level start to fall very quickly, which that I think really suits my style, suits our team and the way we set up the cars. And we've been really fast here the last several times we've been here, and you know, it's really just about putting a complete race together and getting to the finish without any issues, which is something that we did have last year, and we feel confident. Our cars have been amazing this year, you know, especially on the bigger, faster tracks, and you know, I feel confident that we'll also be able to bring that here tomorrow. We, you know, gotten some good practice sessions in, and you know, certainly a few challenges that we're working on balance-wise, but the car's got good grip, has good speed, so I feel really good about it.
Okay, we'll open it up for questions for Jeff. Please raise your hand. We'll get a mic to you. Okay, we'll start up here in the front. A couple of questions.
Morning, Anton Wannenberg, Quan 4 TV, San Francisco. Looking ahead a little bit, any thoughts on your approach at the road course up in Sonoma Raceway?
Yeah, we were just testing there for Goodyear last week, I guess it was, or yeah, I don't know. The weeks are all running into one another now, and you know, we had a lot of rain, so we didn't get as many laps as we would like to have. But feel like Goodyear's got a good tire there. We always enjoy going to Sonoma. It's basically home for me, so I get to see a lot of family and friends that I don't typically get to, which was really nice to be able to do the test and actually spend even more quality time with a lot of people, especially with all the rain. But you know, that track has a lot of challenges, not just being a road course. There's a lot of fall off there, a lot of wheel spin, and you know, a lot of tire wear, especially in the rears. And Goodyear did a really nice job taking a tire that has a little bit more grip at the beginning of the run, but seems to keep a little bit better drive off. And so I think, you know, it was certainly good to get laps there and get prepared to go back there and hopefully put some success together there like we've seen in the past.
Okay, we've got another question here up front.
Hi, Eleanor Holmes, Awesome American Statesman. You mentioned at the press conference at A&M the other day that you didn't go to college, but you want your kids to go to college. How are you kind of using this as an example for them with the students that are going to be part of your 12-man pit crew? And what does it kind of mean to you to be, I mean, whether it's directly or indirectly, kind of giving back to their educational experience at A&M?
Yeah, I mean, I think, you know, for me, getting to experience what life is like there on a campus, and you know, how enthusiastic the students are to go to Texas A&M, a great school, you know, a lot of pride there, and you know, so many similarities between NASCAR and our fans and the passion that we have for our sport, and the same thing for Texas A&M, their students and the alumni and fans that support them. As far as relating that to my children, I mean, I don't know if they're going to go on to be engineers, but if they are, obviously there's a great school there for them. And I see motorsports, drawing more engineers all the time. So there's so many great ways to get involved in this sport. More so than just being a driver. But, my kids' education is something that's very important to my wife and I. And, we're trying to take our own lessons in life as well as, do our best to give them the best education that they can get and try to blend those two things of, what has helped us be successful and not going to college, and how they can blend that between having the education and having the same work ethics and approach in life about finding your passion as early on in life as possible. And if that takes them to further in their education at a particular college, then we're going to support that 100%. But we're also open enough to know that, because our lives and the path it's taken us, that we just want them to be happy and successful in whatever they choose to do. But, every day I wish that I had more of an education and just that experience in life. I think is huge, going to college, and the responsibilities that come along with attending classes, having fun at parties, that balance between, just being more responsible as an adult and sort of stepping into that next stage of your life.
Microphone.
And have you met the 28 students here yet? And if you have, tell me a little bit about how that passion that you're talking about, how they're feeling this weekend, and what role will they play in your race tomorrow? Yeah, no, I did meet them. They're really excited. They actually build a race car over there. It's not a NASCAR stock car, but a lot of really cool things that they've done. So they get racing, and as well as I can tell, they're big fans of NASCAR, and they're just extremely excited to come here and talk to some of our engineers. I think people that aren't in the Carolinas or at the racetrack every weekend underestimate how much technology and engineering goes into what we do every week, every weekend. And if you just go to Hendrick Motorsports and see the growth in engineering and people that are engineers, you start to get a sense of why this tie is so crucial and important to, we've tapped into engineering schools and students probably a little bit more around the Carolinas and then the Midwest. But I'm not so sure that we've tapped in to, schools like Texas A&M. And I think a lot of it's because maybe they just don't realize that could be a potential path for them, as well as the tie to Axalta and the coding systems and all the engineering that goes into what makes their brand and their product so successful, and why the engineers are so important to them as well.
Okay, we'll take two right here in the middle, then go over to Woody.
Jeff, Anthony Ender with Fox Sports Southwest. Was there one thing that stood out to you about your trip to College Station?
Well, other than just, how pumped up and excited they are to blend what they do in racing, as well as the going to visit with the football team. They were pumping some loud music out there on that practice field. I thought that was really, really cool that, they were working hard but having a good time. And it's all about how hard you work, but how you motivate people to do their jobs and do them well. And when you're working that hard, you got to find a way to kind of break up the intensity, and I thought that was pretty cool to see that done. But what an impressive facility that they have. The whole campus is just amazing, and so a lot of construction going on too. So it's only growing.
Okay, we'll take our next question from Lee in the middle.
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. Talk a little bit about, you were one of the first people to tweet a congratulatory note to Chase last night. They were debating.
I was trying not to do it before it crosses the finish line.
But can you just, talk about the potential there? I had a radio show ask me this morning, Chase versus Kyle, who's got staying power. I mean, you have two kids there with tremendous raw talent, a lot like you when you first came in. And, how do you see him maturing, evolving as a racer?
I only wish I had the talent those two have. I think that the future obviously looks very, very bright for our sport, and I'm really excited because they're the ones that are being highlighted, but there's more out there as well. But I've had a chance to watch Kyle race sprint cars. I haven't had a chance to watch Chase race a lot of other things in person. I've certainly seen him run some of the K&N races on TV and things like that. But what I see, and I give so much credit to Bill and Cindy in Chase, is that not only is he fast, he's smart. And I love smart race car drivers. I think it's so cool to watch them learn, in split-second moments on how to constantly improve. And I think he proved that last night because he had a fast race car. They did a great job tuning on his car to get it better throughout the race to be in that position. But he was racing one of the best out there, several of the best out there in Kyle and in Harvick and Junior. And I loved how he approached it. He came up on him, and Harvick knew that Chase was faster than him. He started searching around trying to find a line, and Chase, every time he moved up, Chase would go to the bottom. Every time Kevin moved down, Chase would go to the top, and then he ended up passing him on the top side. So that was really smart driving. And Kyle is just super talented. Kyle Larson is extremely talented, has great car control, really knows how to be aggressive and search the racetrack. And I think that Chase has this great balance of those things. So they're two amazing talents. We're certainly excited because I felt like we missed an opportunity with Kyle, but I think it's things are going to work out really good if we can keep Chase there at Hendrick, because I'm excited about his future and ours.
All right, now we'll go to Woody.
Woody Kane with MRN. Jeff, I want to look ahead again. You got Darlington coming up next week. Is that track starting to get a little bit of its old character back, and how do you think this new package on the cars is going to react there?
I think it's going to be like what it's been everywhere we've gone, super fast. Darlington's never going to be the old Darlington, and that's just because the pavement is different. It's not big rocks and real super abrasive. It's certainly gotten more abrasive, and so the pace may drop slightly and the grip may fall off a little bit more than what we've seen the last couple of years, but we've also gained a lot of grip and downforce in the cars with the ride heights and extra spoiler. And so I just look for us to be super fast there, and can't wait to get there. I always love racing at Darlington, and I was there not too long ago doing Winter Circle for them, and I love seeing it nice and gray and worn out a little bit as much as it can be, because that again, like here, like Atlanta, like California, that just suits my driving style.
Okay, we'll take our final question here in the middle. Go ahead.
Stu Meyer from KTXX-FM in Austin. There was a little talk about the not regulating tire pressure for this weekend. You've had 2 practice rounds. Has there been anything noticed with the tires? You figured out the tire pressure? Are the tires holding up well? Talk about that for a moment.
So far, there are issues. They're there, but they haven't been as severe as what I anticipated. Especially when we rolled out there yesterday and as fast as we were going, I definitely was anticipating on some of the long runs seeing more issues. I don't know what the 41's issue was. I know it was a left rear tire, but I don't know where they are on camber and air pressure. I know that the team has looked into it. I just don't have all those details. But one thing I don't understand is Goodyear put out this release this week with the pressures, why they don't regulate it. Why not just put a minimum, left side tire pressure? That doesn't make any sense to me, because basically all they're doing is asking for us to exploit it and push it. If somebody goes out there, goes faster than us, and we find out that they're a pound lower on the lefts, then we're going to go a pound lower, because that's just speed. But they expect us to kind of regulate where we're at on those pressures and how what kind of tire wear or durability we're going to have, when they could very easily fix it just by going minimum and put it across the board for everybody. But we haven't seen any issues. I think we're being more conservative than some others right now, and I know how it works. You start off conservative, and then you don't see any problems, and then you go a little lower, a little lower, a little lower, and by the end of this race, that last run is the if you make it to that point, then it's going to be the toughest run that we have, because you're going to push the limits, hoping that there's more rubber on the track, hoping that the results you've seen so far, that you've got a little bit more to give, but you got to go faster at that point. So it's a balancing act, and especially if rain's coming too. A green racetrack is going to create some real challenges for us. But we're going to try to do everything we can to have speed in the car and be a little bit more conservative than some of our competitors.
Okay, we got one more minute. We'll take a question from Jenna.
Jenna Fryer, AP. You talked about Goodyear maybe should just regulate it, and we asked Goodyear and NASCAR yesterday, why don't they regulate it? And their answer was because they want teams to have it in their own hands to either be aggressive or be cautious. Or that's something that you would prefer them not to do?
Yeah, I mean, if I don't see why we don't just minimize it. I mean, give us more tools to work with for the setup of the car. To try to find ways to have more speed there. I'm all for that, but I would be fine with just minimize, or putting that number out there and just say you don't go any lower than that. I mean, we do that with the right sides, so why wouldn't they do that with the left sides? But that's up to them. And we'll try to manage it the same way that we did in California. But yeah, I would be more supportive of them having that regulation on those left sides if they're concerned about it. I think the one thing that I like to see them do, they need to understand that there's way more load on the left sides this year than we've seen, and it's just lower ride heights and more downforce. We're putting more loads into them, and they're trying to catch up now to those loads, and so are we. I mean, we're learning from it all the time as well. But from what I've seen, the speeds that we're running here, I think the dual tread is helping, because the grip is not quite there that we'd really like to have in that right front tire. So that's the one thing that's kind of helping us with the left sides right now.